Yeah.
And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To install the camera system extensions. It's installing something you made to restart OBS if this message still appears afterwards. Okay.
Are we recording?
I don't know.
Don't know.
We're going to find out.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
This is Palmer&Kunkel. We should talk. I'm Russell Palmer.
I'm Doug Kunkel.
We're going to talk about our own little grievances.
Yes, we have many. This has been several of many.
We love talking. We love bitching about the things that we dislike in society, and so we make up lists to talk about so we can share it with you. And we're going to start off. Let's go down the list. This is, by the way, our first adventure into live streaming. We did one before to see if everything works, but now we're like doing it. This is a maiden voyage, and so you're on it with us.
Well, hopefully it records.
Yeah,
We will see.
We'll see. It's all science.
Yes, that's right.
It's another science project in our adulthood. Anyway, the thing that we want to talk about, the Robin Hood thing.
Well, there's two things, because they came up in the news. They were in the news. We're going to harken back to when they were in that scandal with the other brokerage firms, but they also announced recently that they're going to do cash deliveries. They're teaming with GoPuff, which is a delivery service, kind of like DoorDash. And we talk about that and then revisit the whole GameStop fiasco. And then we have a number of things we're going to talk about, how these business models are going to, you will own nothing and like it, like the Klaus Schwab thing, where software companies are allowing you to rent or lease their software for a period of time. You don't own it. Music is that way. And you say, okay, I downloaded that from Apple Tunes or whatever. Well, next time this has happened to me several times. Next time you do an update of your operating system on your phone, it's like, oh, you don't own that song. It's like, well, I bought it 2 years ago or whatever. So
you told me to put it here on our Apple Music.
I don't buy Apple Music anymore for that reason. I also don't do updates on my phone.
Nor does my household.
Yeah, it's a waste. And then we want to talk about how the service industry is getting away from service, but their hand is out for bigger and bigger tips all the time in various industries and just a number of things. And then also a recent encounter I had with a taxi driver in New Orleans, and this has happened before, where they try to steal from the company that they work for and try to get you to pay them directly. And I'll explain what happened with that and tell you how I dealt with it. And it was pretty
okay.
fun.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
Do you want to start with Robin Hood?
Yeah, let's start with the Robin Hood thing, because there's kind of two topics. That more recently, we've all been seeing Amazon deliveries and DoorDash deliveries where there's porch pirates that follow the Amazon delivery trucks around, or vans or whatever, and they wait till they go, and then they run up on the porch and grab the package. And then you also see people's Ring cameras with the DoorDash guys, and they're drinking out of their beverage containers, and it's like picking pepperoni off the top of the pizza and eating stuff like that, blowing their nose in the sandwich, or God knows what.
So gross.
And so I don't know what Robin Hood is thinking that they can deliver cash to people.
I think we need to explain who Robin Hood is.
Robin Hood is a brokerage firm who, like TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Scottrade, and they build themselves as being for the little guy. And we'll get into that next topic. But they will deliver cash to your door, supposedly. They're rolling it out in a couple cities, working with GoPuff, which is like a DoorDash delivery service. And they're saying, well, the drivers have all been vetted. These are going to be in these sealed bags of cash that they're going to take to you. And I'm thinking, if you got people following the Amazon delivery trucks around for God knows what, it could be adult diapers in that box on there and stealing that. If they know there's cash, they're going to...
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? They're going to be following those cars around.
So this is essentially a door-to-door ATM.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
ATM, and the fee is like $4.99 to $6.99. So it's like an out of network ATM fee, something like that. But and you also have to have, I believe, you need to have an account with Robinhood over a certain amount to actually do this. You can't just say, "Hey, go to my bank."
Well, you have to cover their losses.
You have to cover their losses. What's going to happen if it gets stolen?
Right.
Are they going to? It's like, no, the guy took a picture of it sitting at your doorstep right there on. Is that your welcome mat right there with that pile of cash sitting, in a supposedly sealed, nondescript bag? With, like I said, they'll steal an unmarked an Amazon box. They have no idea what's in it. Could be anything. Could be something really stupid that they don't even need, and they'll steal it.
Do you suppose the delivery vehicle would say, "We're delivering money across the back of the van"?
Cash to your door.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some tell. I mean, if they say, well, the vehicles will be nondescript, there will be some tell. Or people waiting outside the dispatch place. And it's like, okay, there goes the vehicle. I'm going to follow it, go to this doorstep. And, there's been some kind of tense encounters with people opening their door and the porch pirate's there. And, the police say don't shoot them. But, I can't, for legal reasons, I can't say do it, but I wouldn't blame you. Because you're not allowed to steal. And police are like, well, yeah, call us. We'll take care of it. No, you won't.
No.
Even though they have video, because everyone has a Ring camera now. They have video, so they know who the person is. They can do facial recognition. But the police don't even care. They just don't care. Oh, it's just property. Well, it could be way more than that because, Amazon, people get necessary medications delivered because you can have a prescription and have that delivered to your door through Amazon.
Right.
And what if this is
Walmart?
Yeah, or Walmart. What if this is something you need to live?
Right.
And someone steals it.
Right.
So, this needs to be treated a lot more seriously than it is. But getting back to the whole cash thing, this is just going to be a complete nightmare because it's going to lead to a lot of theft and a lot of criminality.
I'm really more worried not about the guys that are following the vehicle, though I'm sure that is a problem. I'm worried about the insider who picks up the phone and says, yeah, this is the license plate, follow them.
Right.
It's a gray Buick.
Got a big delivery. It's like $500, go pick it up.
Or it could be a lot more.
It could be a lot more. And if it gets stolen, who covers it? And is it going to be insured? I can't imagine an insurance company insuring the loss on that. That would be ridiculously expensive. I just don't see this working out.
No.
But, Robin...
even if it works out 90% of the time.
Yeah, 10% is just insane.
Yeah.
And there's enough DoorDash, debacles where people eating French fries and eating a piece of pizza or pulling the toppings off or drinking the drink.
Right.
Or just throwing it down because there wasn't enough of a tip left. What's going to happen now if these people, like the DoorDash people, they see if there's a tip before they even do the delivery?
Oh, right.
And if there's
I didn't know
tip
that.
or the tip isn't enough, they spit in the food. They maybe don't even deliver it sometimes. They just go there and you leave a tip. They throw it on the ground. They're going to get fired. But these are not bright people in control of their emotions who are DoorDash drivers for the Well, not all of them. I mean, some are legitimate people trying to make ends meet, but a lot of them are just complete derelicts.
Right. You've had that other experience where somebody from a big warehouse store was delivering a large appliance to your house, and they just said, "Oh, we were there." And you said, "No, I was here, but you weren't."
Yeah, they were at the front gate of the development. It's like, we're at your house. We took a picture. It's like, that's not my house. That's the front gate. You still got 2 more miles to get to my house. Yeah, I've had that happen. That was service guys doing that.
So what's going to be different than just going to leave a bag of money at the outside of the
door?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
crazy.
The person getting the delivery, they can also say, "Oh, I never got it."
Right.
And get double the amount. Actually take it, and then it's like, I never got it. Someone must have stolen it. Well,
at least at the ATM, they take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture of you getting it. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you can, you can make a complaint pretty quickly with your bank if it shorts you. I haven't had that happen. I always count it when it comes out and make sure I have the right amount.
At the ATM
At
you
the
do?
ATM, yeah.
Okay.
Always count it right there. It's like, and I don't like when people are hanging out, watching you, or getting too close. But
The
I'm always
worst.
armed, so it doesn't really matter. So it'll be a bad day for them if they try something.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, back to the whole Robin Hood thing, and this is going back. Robin Hood, and as people know, Robin Hood is named after the fictional character Robin Hood, who
Right.
robs from the rich, gives to the poor, and they always touted themselves, the brokerage firm. This is for the little guy. This isn't for the institutional investor. This is for mom and pop retail investor. So this is years ago. What happened is there's a subreddit called Wall Street Bets that this guy is on, and he's a total nerd, really nice guy. Apparently, I've seen interviews with him and everything. And he's a nerd, so he likes GameStop like a lot of nerds do, and probably Star Wars as well. GameStop is a retail outlet that sells new and used video games, new and used video game consoles.
Okay.
So it's great for people who want, you can turn your games in, get cash back, buy a used game, buy a new game, or
Okay.
whatever. And their stock
I'm such a non-gamer
Yeah,
that
I
I didn't
know,
even
I
know
love it.
that.
and their stock is in the toilet because people are buying video games for the most part on Amazon. They're not going into the store and looking through the video games, although Amazon also sells used video games. So they're taking a huge chunk out of GameStop. Amazon also sells consoles and peripheral, aftermarket controllers and stuff like that. And so their stock was beaten down. And this guy and they had a lot of short positions on it. So these institutional investors thought the stock's going to do even worse. So when you short sell something, you're borrowing shares and selling them at that price with the hopes that the price goes down and it'll be lower than that when you have to buy it back at a certain point, which is a certain number of days or whatever.
Okay.
You have to buy it back. And you can have unlimited losses because that stock could go through the roof. And you'd have to buy it back. Say the stock's at $100, you think it's going to go to 50. So you sell it at 100, you'll think you'll buy it back at 50, and it goes to 500. Well, you're on the hook for buying it back at 500 then, when the time period ends.
Oh my
It's called
God.
a short squeeze.
Okay.
So these guys, these nerds on this not GoFundMe, it's Wall Street Bets subreddit. They said, let's all buy a bunch of GameStop shares and drive the price up and show these hedge fund assholes, put them in the short squeeze.
You're not in charge.
Yeah, you're not in charge. We're going to have the price. Because GameStop doesn't have that many shares. It's not like Procter & Gamble or ExxonMobil where
Right.
you can't really make a dent in the price. There was few enough shares where people getting out the word and doing this, and in the thousands of people buying thousands of shares, it made a difference in the price. The price was going up, up, up. And these institutional firms who had bet that it was going to go down they were going to get screwed. What Robinhood and a couple other brokerage houses did, like Schwab and I think TD Ameritrade and maybe Scottrade as well, they discontinued buying. They would not allow you to buy any more GameStop. You could only sell. And the excuse was, we're overwhelmed and blah, 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 like it was some technical issue. But
So
really,
they were putting their thumb on the
they were
scale.
putting their thumb on the scale in favor of the hedge funds and institutional investors.
Okay.
Even though their name's Robinhood,
Yeah.
we're for the little guy. Oh, sure you are.
Right.
And so that was a huge debacle. There were big fines to be paid. But we should all remember that. Remember the Robinhood example. When they say they're for the little guy, they are not for the little guy.
Right.
And that proved it. And don't forget. So
Yeah.
That's my diatribe on Robinhood.
Well, okay. Have they ever done a good thing? I mean, that this just wipes out. I mean, is that the point, that they do sometimes do good things and that they're big enough to
they don't need to do good or bad things.
So they should just be
They should just
market
be,
driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like these social media platforms who say they're a pipeline. You can't sue us, for the content,
Right.
or for taking down your content. We're not a publisher. Well, if you start taking down content because you don't like it, you're a publisher.
You're a publisher,
And
exactly
you should
right.
be able to be sued like a newspaper or a radio station.
Right. I agree.
And of course they can take stuff down that's illegal, and they're supposed to, but you can't, if you are a pipeline, like let's say you're AT&T. They don't go in and say, you can't say that word over the phone. Like I call you and I start, saying a bunch of nonsense that's like really hateful and hurtful to people, to certain groups, certain victim groups. Well, AT&T can't stop you. They don't get in there and cut you off. But
not yet.
But Facebook will.
Yeah.
There's certain words and things you can't refer to. And this is like especially true during COVID. If you had anything that differed from the official narrative, which got thousands of people killed, they would just cut you off. They would demonetize you to start with. Then they would just not even put your stuff up.
Because that's their right in their minds.
And the funny thing is, like all these podcasters who are making money on YouTube, when they get demonetized or they get something taken down, that money doesn't get refunded to the people who, or to the advertisers who, well, if you demonetize, you don't advertise, but people do like they'll donate, they'll sponsor the thing, and especially like on the super chats, they can, here's $5, here's $10, and please read what I wrote here.
Okay.
Well, that stuff just goes to YouTube. Then they steal it. They steal it.
Really?
It's unbelievable. It's like, hey, if you don't like what this person's saying, you can't just take them down and steal the money and then we're a pipeline. That's bull. You're not a pipeline. You're a publisher, and you should be subject to being sued. And now a thief as well.
So did they do that on Facebook?
Yeah, they do that. Facebook, YouTube, bunch of places like that.
Okay.
It was like remember the Canadian truckers who were having that that strike? Yeah, all those people a lot of people got debanked. They're like, oh yeah, I support the Canadian truckers. Here's $5.
So evil.
All of a sudden, your bank account
just
froze.
Evil.
Just unbelievably evil. Yeah, living under tyranny. So the next gripe.
The next grievance.
You will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab has said that. He's part of the globalist cabal who are meeting in Davos the next couple
Didn't he
days.
step down a short time ago?
I
supposedly
think he did, but it's just like, Soros isn't that active, but his filthy son is, Alex Soros. Yeah, George Soros, the original evil guy, isn't necessarily writing the checks anymore, but he might as well be because his evil son.
Right.
And I think, isn't he the evil son banging Huma?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Who was Hillary's right-hand man?
So to speak.
Right-hand skank. Anyway, Klaus Schwab, he is a terrible guy. He's like a Bond villain. And he's always up there talking about this globalist nonsense. And
I want to paint the picture of the Bond villain thing more because he comes with an outfit that has all these like big V kind of like heroic kind of Marvel comic kind of outfit that he has made for himself and wears at these World Economic Forum meetings, like, I am the great Klaus.
Great and powerful Oz. Oh yeah, they think they get to control everyone's life in minute detail, and they're trying to. And so he's this whole thing with you will own nothing and be happy. We're starting to see the beginning of it, where people, they can't afford to buy a home, so a lot of people are renting now, which is not good because when you're renting, you don't have as much stake in the game.
Right.
And your neighbor, if you have a lot of rental houses in your neighborhood, it's going to start to look like crap because people don't have the pride of ownership. There's no pride of rental. There's pride of ownership.
Right.
And so it's going to start to turn to crap. And all of our society is turning like that. And like one thing I've noticed too is like, it's like books. It's like, it's so easy to do it on Kindle or whatever, where you download books. And I do it too, to like do it on the airplane, because otherwise you have like several books with you and it takes up a lot of room. But if I think a book is important, like right now I'm reading the RFK Jr. book, The Real Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of great information in it. And
the arch villain.
Yeah, evil Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
But I bought that book because at some point they're either going to make it so you can't access it, or they're going to change the book. When it's online, you don't know if it's the original, if that's how it was supposed to be. I mean, they can just change it. It's just completely like out there.
Or just delete it.
Or just delete it. So you have to buy the physical book, because a grievance group or a tyrannical government can just shut it down so you'll never see it, or they'll change it.
Right.
to match their narrative. Oh no, it was always that way. They'll gaslight you.
Right.
Like they haven't been doing that. Music is that way too. Now people used to buy, we're back in the day when you bought albums, and then you recorded them on your cassette tape, and you had it for the car or whatever for your, for your Alpine stereo system in the car. But now people are just downloading, and we've talked about this before, how those downloads go away.
Yeah.
And they don't work.
I want to make a point going back because
Go back to
close
books?
enough. No, to the apartment, to the renting
Oh.
aspect, because there's an economic yin and yang and balancing act. And I used to be in real estate. Real estate agents are pretty much, my dog is down here grumbling and scratching herself. So if you hear that, that's Tilly. Anyway, these people who you said, it's not good for people just to rent. The other side of this is if you don't buy up the houses that you want, and of course some people just cannot, and I understand that, but these big companies are coming along and buying up the houses
BlackRock.
because real estate will always go up
Yep.
in value. And so
Especially if you control the supply.
right.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do. And Trump just came out with an edict that they have to stop doing that because it is it's a direct affront to the affordability aspect of what they're trying to do with government, bring prices down, make even houses as well as eggs and milk affordable.
And gasoline and diesel. Yeah, well, kicking a bunch of illegal aliens out is going to help with that.
Yeah.
We need to do more of that. But there is a place for rentals. When you're starting out, if you are renting to save your money, and because if you're really young and a go-getter trying to save money for a house, you're probably working extra hours, taking as much overtime as possible.
Right.
You don't have time to renovate a fixer-upper or something like that. But and there's some people, their lifestyle, they're not handy and they just want to rent, and that's fine. But when you want to own a home and can't, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is right now.
Right.
It's getting very difficult. So I'm hoping that we get back to more home ownership because that leads to a lot more better communities, in my opinion. Video games as well. It's like they have a lot of stuff that you're supposed to download or
okay.
just like with music.
Right.
And there's a couple, Microsoft really got into this with the Xbox games, and they were battling it out with Sony. Nintendo's always been, the redheaded stepchild. They don't really sell that many units. And then there was Sega in there, which was a pretty cool system. But the big two were Xbox and Sony PlayStation.
Right.
Xbox went this direction where you would buy a game and it had a bunch of code in it. So you would load it onto your Xbox console, but then that was done. That CD was done. You couldn't lend it to a friend. You couldn't put it on a different console. You had a different way.
You couldn't take it over to your buddy's house.
You didn't actually own it.
Right.
Basically, you owned one copy, and if that copy got corrupted, you couldn't reload it.
Sounds like Adobe.
Yeah, and the other, that's this, bringing back to this GameStop thing, going full circle with Robinhood. GameStop was selling used games. Well, you can't sell used Xbox games back in the day when they didn't allow you.
Okay.
You had one download. You had to get this code, one-time code, download it, and if something went wrong,
you were out of luck.
You were out of luck. You had to buy the game again because try to get on the helpline for that. They're not going to help you.
Right.
So that was really bad. The other thing with the video games is I don't like to play online against people who have all the time in the world to be super good at it because you'll just get wiped out. The other thing is there's a bunch of video games that I have where there were certain things you could do or certain tasks that were later found to be offensive by certain groups. I'll go back to Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which is a great, really popular game. It's set in Miami. It's got Ray Liotta as the voice actor for the protagonist and everything. But there was a section of town in Miami, like Little Haiti. And some of the things were going through there, and you'd had to shoot up these Haitian gangs. Well, the Haitians got really mad at that.
Oh, really?
And you
can imagine why.
Well, people are getting shot up all the time in these games.
Right.
It's like, why are you so special? You can't be.
Well, they don't usually name what race they are or what country they're from, though.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's the Cuban gangs. There's all kinds. they're the only ones that got mad. But there were downloads or fixes that happened after that where those missions went away.
Okay.
To shoot up the Haitians. And it's like I never downloaded the updates. And then one of my favorite games, Red Dead Redemption 2, if you go into the biggest city on the map, which is Saint Denis, and it looks just like New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
It's Saint Denis, but Saint Denis. There's this woman. This is like set in the late 1800s. This woman in there talking about suffrage for women, for voting rights and everything. And in the original game, you could shoot her, you could hog tie her and put her on the train tracks. You could hog tie her and take her out to the swamp and throw her to the alligators.
Okay.
And people were doing that and posting it online. You could do whatever you wanted. You could drag her behind your horse till she died and stuff like that.
God.
It's just crazy. You could do all kinds of despicable stuff. But people got mad about that. And then there was a download.
You're only painting. You're ratifying the image that people have in their minds about these gamers.
Oh, I know. But there was a download to update this so you couldn't do that. So she was like, in these games, almost all of them, I've never seen one where you can actually hurt a child. You can do whatever to adults in there, but you can't, for children, something about that, you can't hurt a child in the game.
Okay.
But anyway, I never downloaded that too, so I can go in and I can do whatever. And be as evil as I want.
Yeah, okay.
But I always think I'm going to play this game really evil because there's like a karma system in there. You could be good or bad. And
really?
Incrementally, depending on how you behave. I always think I'm going to play it.
So it decides.
Well, you decide if you want to be good or evil. And it just pushes you in that. And people interact with you.
Do you have to state in front? Okay.
No, all right. It's your actions that cause that.
Okay.
And people interact with you differently depending on where you are in that good versus evil continuum. And it takes a long time to work your way to. I'm almost to the good end, but I always think I'm going to do an evil playthrough, and I just can't because
you can't convince me that you're on the good side. I can't believe that.
Well, I'm faking it.
Okay.
And then the other thing is like we all have smart TVs, big flat screen TVs that have all these embedded applications on there, and you think, oh, this is great. I got Netflix. I got this. I got I can get on YouTube. Well, those are subscription services through the manufacturer. And if they have some discrepancy later where like Samsung and YouTube have some falling out, they can't, and YouTube is no longer supported on Samsung, well, that TV is like, I used to be able to get YouTube on here, no problem, and watch YouTube videos on my TV. That'll go away. Yeah. Because it's just an app that can be there or not. And if you buy a TV because, oh my gosh, this TV has all these great applications on it. I mean, some of the TVs have like a Netflix button. It gets you right to Netflix. Right. And
on the remote that comes with it.
On the remote that comes with it. You hit the Netflix, it goes right to Netflix. Yep. And of course you have to have the subscription service, but it takes you right there. But say that Sony or something has a falling out with Netflix. They can't come to some agreement. And your Sony TV has that. It may not even be able to go.
Let me tell you, Netflix. There's a couple of things that the corporate wars. And they are between LG and Samsung or even Amazon. I have some Amazon remotes, and they do not.
The Fire Stick?
I have a Fire Stick on every TV. It's just so that my fingers know how to type, essentially.
Right.
But if I want to bring up Fubo, which I watch a lot of different channels on, mm-hmm. Amazon don't like that at all. No, they really fight that. And so I can't find it on my TV. I can't find it. Then I have to type it in, and I have to go through all these iterations. They don't like it. They just will do anything to control what I'm watching.
To prevent you from doing something you want to do.
That's right, and paid for.
Do what I want to do.
And paid for.
Yeah, you were saying, too, that the Fire Stick was saying, you have too much... You're using up too much memory. Can you get rid of a couple applications?
Right, and they were always non-Amazon things.
Yeah, but you couldn't get rid of the Amazon ones. Right. Only the ones that you actually wanted.
Amazon for kids. Well, I don't have kids. I don't need that.
I don't need to watch Clifford the Big Red Dog. Get that off of here. No, you can't.
That's great.
It's just crazy. And then, this is a next step is modern car features. Like a Tesla is an extreme example of this. There's a big screen, has a bunch of features in there. that you can either buy or not. Because you buy the base Tesla, the dual motor or whatever.
Right.
You don't have that crazy mode. What is it called? A ludicrous mode or whatever. You have to upgrade to that, and it's just a software upgrade. I mean, your car is capable of that crazy acceleration in ludicrous mode, but you have to pay for it. And they can just take it away.
God.
And they can shut down your car remotely too. And then not even a Tesla, but other cars have certain features, just like the smart TV, they're embedded on the screen, and you have like, I don't know, MapQuest or some outside service that the car company has an agreement with. Maybe some sort of connectivity between your phone and your car. Well, that can all go away. So
yeah.
You may have bought that and paid for that, and then it goes away because there's a falling out between the car manufacturer,
yeah.
or that, let's say it has Sirius XM radio on it or something. Well, that's only for a certain amount of time. And then you have to pay for it yourself. So that thing just goes away. There it is on the screen. But you
right.
can't. It's just it's part of you will own nothing. You don't own it.
Right.
I thought I bought that. No, you have to keep subscribing to it.
Yeah.
Well, your car comes with Sirius XM. For how long?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
So I've been watching, all this nonsense on television about the stuff that's going on in Minneapolis, the riots, et cetera, and women trying to run into
Renee Good.
Yeah, run into.
They got her good.
Oh God, so bad. Just the people that are running into, the ICE guys.
Right.
Anyway, I've always thought and been paranoid about the fact that the government can turn off or operate your car. And most cars these days have the ability for the government to stop that car, which of course would be a very dangerous thing in many, many instances, such as if you were on the freeway going at high speeds. But here's a situation where the government could be controlling those cars, and yet they're not.
Right.
Nothing is happening.
Makes you wonder if they have as much control as they say, or you think they possibly do.
I mean, all of a sudden I'm like, why don't you just go in the other room and do this?
Or maybe they could, but some Hawaiian judge appointed by Obama told them they couldn't.
Possible.
Yeah. Who knows? The other thing is, and this is not a subscription service, but if it's somewhat related, I try to always tell people this. My thing is, if you have financial documents like from your bank or from your brokerage house or some investment, they're always pushing you to go paperless. And you'll pull up the application on your computer, and it's like the first screen that comes up, hey, go paperless, big button to, yes, I do want to go paperless, or find that little tiny thing that says no. And it just keeps pushing you to go paperless.
Yeah.
And just like with the books, I don't trust it. I want the paper copy, because they could say, oh no, your account's half what you think it is. Like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
And they could doctor up your previous statements that are all online. You don't have them, and so you never had that much money. What are you talking about? But if you have the paper copy, then you have something you can say, look, last month I had $100,000 in this account, and why is it $50,000? I didn't make any trades, or then they can't say you never had that, because you have the official document from them saying that you had that amount, and they can't change it when it's in your hands.
Yeah, but here's the deal. For me, my experience with a big bank and a big credit card of mine, they simply started docking me because I hadn't made any payments. Well, they hadn't sent me the bill. They hadn't sent me the statement.
Oh, because you went paperless.
I didn't go paperless, but they said I did.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So now I'm like having to go on and download my stuff that I never gave them permission and never would, never possibly.
Right.
And I explained to them, I said, no, this is exactly why I would not have done this. I expected this from you.
Yeah.
And they did screw me.
Oh, yeah, they're pushing it.
And they don't want to pay for that paper. They don't want to pay for the mailing. They don't want to pay the postage. Nothing. They want you to be entirely responsible for whatever they say it is.
Right.
And you can't go back months later and say, no, I did pay that.
Right.
Here's where I have proof.
Because they can change it.
They can change it.
It's online, so it's live, and they can completely change it. If you have a paper copy, they can't. The technology is not there yet. Maybe someday.
Right.
And if there's, so there's some places where it's they'll start charging you for the paper copy. In my opinion, it's worth it. I haven't had that happen yet. But if they don't even give the option, definitely take a screenshot all the time of your statements and your balances and things like that, and then keep it, offline. Hopefully they can't get to it.
Get a nice big fat drive.
Get an external drive and put it on there, and then disconnect it.
Disconnect it, because the government and the bank and the state and the guys who you pay your property taxes to, they can all get into your computer and remove. I mean, we know of files that have been removed because somebody had evidence and the government went in and removed the evidence from their computer when it was off.
Yes. Or they can put stuff on there too.
Yeah.
Which is how they get people with the child porn in some cases.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it is. Well, this is an old story, but Jesse Ventura, remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
I
actually was a big fan of his.
Yeah, he was hosting this show called Conspiracy Theory.
Right.
And this is back when people had VCRs.
What was he governor of? Do you
Minnesota.
remember? Minnesota. Oh my God.
I know. Crazy Minnesota.
We need him now.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Somebody. Not that crazy, goofy jazz hands Tim Waltz.
Wow.
But one or two of the episodes that he had were probably too close to home, and they never aired them again. And then people who recorded them with a VCR have those recordings, but people who had a DVR where it was digital
and disappeared
somehow. Those files got erased remotely from their DVRs.
Scary. Just like this recording will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Removed from Google.
Yeah. So the last thing, if we jump onto what happened to the service industry. And,
it's so sad.
Yeah, it is
I think
sad.
COVID happened.
That's part of it. It was going downhill before then because people don't want to work hard. They think they should just be like a YouTube influencer or a TikTok influencer, and people expect to be paid for nothing. And this whole idea of this universal basic income, that is stupid and ridiculous. And the idea that the minimum wage has to be a living wage, what's meant for part-time work, it's meant for kids working their way through, so they can date, in college,
right?
Take their girlfriend out to McDonald's and get the value meal. this whole idea, it's like, oh, you can't support a family on minimum wage. Well, you're not supposed to. Right. That's meant for temporary jobs, working your way up.
And auxiliary income. It's just
additional income.
Extra.
It was never meant to be, this is what you're going to live on. And the other thing is, the minimum wage is and always will be zero. Because if you make it too high, that job will go unfilled, or it will be replaced by automation.
Yeah,
they're already doing.
Yes.
They had those kiosks at McDonald's. It's like you pushed and pushed to get $20 an hour or whatever the hell it was to just sit there and punch an order in and hand someone a bag. You can get replaced, and you have been, and that's going to happen more and more. But we don't go out to eat very much. But when we were in New Orleans recently,
right,
every meal was out. And we've noticed that a lot of places, it looks like a sit-down restaurant, but you have to go up to the counter and order. And then they may or may not bring your order when it's completed to your table.
Or just call it out like your McDonald's.
Yeah, pick
Number
it up.
87.
And they still expect a tip. In fact, when you have to pay for it, not at the end like a normal restaurant, like after the service has been done, right, and was it good service or bad service? They want to be tipped beforehand, before they even lift a finger. And this one place we went to, it was terrible. It was a nice looking place, and my wife ordered eggs Benedict. Well, the eggs Benedict came out. English muffins, you normally split them and toast them. These are whole English muffins with the eggs on top and the hollandaise sauce. They were not toasted at all. It was
oh my
awful.
Gosh.
And she had to go up and get it, bring it back to the table. And then the freaking waiter, I hate to call him that because he's just the guy standing around as we're leaving. He's like, make sure to clean your table. And if we wouldn't have been there with our friends, who I didn't want them to think I'm a psycho, I'd have gone and messed that table up. And, just said, you take care of it, douchebag. But I didn't want to be like, oh, okay, I don't want to be that guy.
What was the tip for?
Nothing. Because he thinks he deserves it. And the other thing is that...
How much of a tip did you give this?
Bonnie gave 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe that was why.
too bad.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
A tip should be an extra thing, and
Yeah.
it should be because
Well,
I think for service rendered.
Yeah, what I do in that case is when they want the tip up front, and I'm not sure if they're going to do any level of service. Because if it's pure counter service, like you're ordering at McDonald's, there's no tip, of course. It's not
Right.
expected, thank God. But these other places who are doing basically that model, they still have like, here's a tip, and it starts at 20%. A lot of places,
The lowest,
or 18,
the lowest choice.
And I'm thinking 15, it's a percentage. So if prices go up and the cost of living goes up, so does the tip amount because it's a percent.
Sure.
People don't understand that. That's why they're in those low-paying jobs, because they're too stupid to understand how percents work.
What do you really think?
Yeah, what do I really think? What I do when I'm not sure of what level of service I'm going to get is I'll do no tip, but I will pay in cash or just write cash and then just pay the amount. And if they do actual service, like come clear your table, fill your coffee, fill your water, then I will leave a cash tip. But if it's like, okay, I had to do everything, then nothing.
There should be no
There
tip.
should be nothing.
Really, tip the dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I used
but
to do
it's
that
paper
job.
plates.
I did that job for $1.65 an hour.
Right.
Back in the day. So, yeah, the hotels and motels too. And it's like, okay, people used to tip the maid. What are they called? Maid, room steward? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
The
Service.
person who comes in and cleans, well, not room service because that's food, but the person who supposedly comes in and cleans your room, you're supposed to like tip every day or based on every day or whatever. Well, they don't do that anymore.
Remember that the rule of thumb used to be whatever change you have in your pocket, just like, a few coins, leave them on the dresser and they'll be happy with that. Not
anymore. But the thing is, they don't come in and make up the room anymore. And it's a combination of COVID and the green agenda.
Yeah, well,
before COVID, it was like they stopped changing your bath towels every day.
Right.
It was like, hey, if it's dirty, put it on the floor. If you're going to reuse it, hang it up. And
right.
We strongly encourage you to reuse it. That's fine. Because I can do a towel for a couple times. But it used to be nice. You go in a hotel, fresh towel every time. Bed was always made fresh, But now with COVID and this whole green thing, now you never see them. Nothing's ever made up. And they still, the hotel and motel rates are still very, very high. They're higher than ever. And there's no service. It's just unbelievable.
No service? I mean, I don't stay in hotels a lot, but...
In the U.S. So we were in one in Panama recently where they did come in every day and make up the room, which was great. But we've also stayed in the ones in the U.S. and nope, the room is the way you left it.
And it's because we don't put up a fuss.
Right.
I mean, with COVID, it was an understandable thing. We don't want you in the room. We don't want to, be exchanging we don't have any opportunity for the exchange of germs and sneezing and all kinds of things. Just stay away from my room. I'll be fine with the pillowcase I'm, using.
Right.
But once that was over, they didn't go back because we allowed that.
Yeah.
And
we got used to it.
It became the norm.
And they got used to it too. It would be nice if you get a little bit of a discount because they don't have to pay the people as much or have as many staff because they're not turning the rooms over every day.
Right.
But that didn't happen. Prices went up. So that's an annoyance. That's a grievance.
Yeah.
Part of the grab bag. And I don't know if do you guys do cruise lines?
No, I really am not very comfortable being confined on a ship.
We love them. We do a lot. Anyway, the tips used to be actual tips.
Right.
And so toward the end of the cruise, your room steward would leave all these envelopes for the maitre d', for your waiter, assistant waiter and stuff. And depending on the service, you'd put cash in there and hand them to this person. Well, then the cruise lines went to this business model, no tipping necessary or whatever, but they actually include it in your bill. Every day, per person every day, it's a certain amount that gets added on to your bill. And you have to go fight them on that. You have to go down to the purser and say, no, I want this taken off. Why don't you want to tip? It's like, no, I want to tip like a real tip based on the service. Well, some people aren't good. It's like, that's not my problem.
Right.
Some people aren't going to see a tip. Well, pay them more. I hate this whole thing. Well, I don't want to pay these people, but I'm going to guilt you into paying them.
And my guess is they're going to keep part of that at least.
Who knows if it even gets to the people you want it to get
Right.
to. At least when you handed them the envelope of cash, you knew they were getting something.
Right.
Now I have no idea. So that's a pain in the butt because these cruise lines advertise these pretty low prices.
Right.
And it seems really great. But then they'll add that tip fee, even though they say no tipping necessary, but you have to fight them to make that happen.
Right.
And they add this tip fee every day because if they added that to the price, they would not look competitive to their peers. And so they're all doing it.
I see.
Oh, we can do. Here's a week-long cruise.
Right.
$700 per person. Well, it's really $900 with the tips or whatever.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, it's annoying. And like I said, you don't know if the person's getting it.
And is it not a choice? Does it come out to it when you went down and talked to the person? And did they say, well, this is the way it is? Or did they give you the choice of getting the money back and you handing the tips out yourself?
Well, they took it off and I handed the money out myself based on, some people did a fantastic job. They got a very good tip. Other people like, that wasn't very good. You get a kind of a minimum tip.
Right.
Sort of thing. But
so it's based actually on service.
Actually based on service, which I was trying to explain to the guy, and he was acting like I was a cheapskate.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Because they don't want to change anything.
They don't want to change anything. They don't want to make it a hassle on them.
What a shame.
And then, the airport shuttle, the parking shuttle. Do you tip or no tip? And then how is that different than the rental car shuttle? Because they travel about the same distance, and some handle your baggage, some don't. When do you tip in that situation? Because I generally tip the parking shuttle guy.
I do too.
Because they almost always handle, hand the bag to you and, handle the luggage.
But they drive you right to your car in the cases that...
Well, here, yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's the rental car shuttle. So you pick up, because some of these the rental car companies don't have... the cars in the parking garage at the airport. It's an off-site facility.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've come across that.
I have.
It happens a lot. That guy generally doesn't get tipped. And I'm not sure what the difference is because it's very similar to the parking shuttle. It goes about the same distance. Sometimes they handle your bags for you or they don't because they don't really want you going up and down the stairs into the bus with your bags. But that, for some reason, even though it's almost the same thing, it's like society has decided those people don't get a tip. I mean, I've seen it occasionally, but it's much more common for the parking shuttle.
Right.
And my idea on this is, with the parking shuttle, if you stiff them, they might key your car. With a rental car shuttle, it's not your car. What do you care, They don't even know what car you're getting because they drop you off and you get assigned a car by a different person at the desk. So... they have nothing to hold over your head.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the reason, but...
That's kind of awful. I hate it when we have to go off the airport property to get the car because it just means that they're cheap and they're not gonna, they should be bringing the car, like the 10 cars that are going to be reserved to a small little parking area. And they should do that, I think. Right. I believe that's how that service should go.
That shuttle bus. So some car companies you see come around is like, well, I've seen 5, Hertz ones, but where's my Avis guy?
Right.
It's a pain in the butt.
I've had it happen the very last time I did this. I stood there calling the number over and over and over. Nobody would answer. Turned out the bus was about, 100 feet away from me. Oh and I didn't see the name because it didn't say what the name was on the bus. It was in the right place, but didn't say what it was. So I didn't recognize it.
I want to, before we end on here, I actually have a restaurant thing after this, but the taxi cab scam. This has happened to me before, and I was anticipating it again on our trip to New Orleans. So this is the day we're going back. We're leaving, going to the airport. Get a cab, and the taxi cabs in New Orleans, there was a set fee from going downtown, anywhere in the downtown area, including the Garden District, to the airport is a fixed fee. It's like $36 or something like that. And they have a screen on there to pay, the point of payment.
Yeah.
And that...
in the back seat?
In the back of the headrest of the front passenger seat, it's there. And there's a sign on there that says this has to be, by law, this has to be functional. Because, these cab companies get some of the cut because they're providing the vehicle, probably the gas, maybe
communications, all that.
And coordination and all this. So this has happened before where the taxi driver, you get to the airport or wherever you're going, and he's like, oh, that doesn't work. And the guy's like, gets his phone out and wants me to pay on his phone. And it's like...
With a credit card.
With a credit card. It's like, no, this has to work. Well, it doesn't work. And then I said, well, I guess you're out of luck. And I start walking away. And he's like, oh! And then all of a sudden that thing worked.
Right.
And of course, no tip. Because he freaking lied to me and he was trying to scam the company that employed him. Of course, it was a furry little foreigner. And he was on he was talking in his gibberish to someone on the phone, which you're not supposed to do.
Right.
What an asshole.
But they do typically do that. They talk to their wife and they want to tell them that, they want the secret sauce on the beef.
Who knows? But it just pissed me off. He was trying to pull that scam on me or pull the scam on his company. It's like if I could have deported him right then and there, I would have. What a piece of shit.
Should have called ICE
what a
right
liar.
there.
And if that thing didn't work,
we should have the little ICE number.
Yeah, I thought, well, if that truly doesn't work, do I give him cash? It's like no, because he's scamming his company then too,
right.
And he's lying to me. Plus, that legally has to be working. It says so right there.
Right.
And so it's like if he didn't come and finally admit that thing is working, I'd have stiffed him.
Right.
Too bad, you liar. So the other thing, have you seen this? They talked about tipflation, how the tip amount's going up. Have you seen where restaurants, instead of giving you a menu, you're supposed to scan a QR code?
I hate that.
I hate that too. It's just awful.
With a QR code, I won't do it on TV. I won't do it on anything.
Because you don't know
where is it going? And there's several things when you set up a QR code, it can, capture your information onto there, and then all of a sudden you are flooded with advertising and all that stuff onto your phone.
Don't need it.
Don't do it ever.
So
it's a terrible. And the fact that they're not printing up menus.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to look on my phone.
Yeah, because a menu, you can see a bunch of stuff and all at once because it's a pretty big page generally, and it's like, okay, you can make a decision. Your little phone, you're like scrolling through
getting grease all over the
thing. It's just like, God, I don't like it at all. Plus the security thing. It's like, I don't know what this QR code is taking me to. It might drain my bank account for all I know.
Well, I don't know that it can be set up with that, but there's lots of choices that are actually legitimate. But I mean, it's when you drive by a house and it has a QR code and you take a picture of that for more information. Well, generally those realtors are trapping all of your contact information. Yep. And now they own you.
I don't want the restaurant doing that either.
Right.
And so this is another New Orleans story where after I had it out with the cab driver and told him he was out of luck unless that the official screen worked. We went to Emeril's, which is actually the food was very good in the airport. Surprisingly, it's like thinking airport food. It was better than the food in the French Quarter.
Really,
those places are just living off their reputation.
Oh, okay.
They were so.
That's too bad.
Yeah, the restaurants in the Garden District, way better.
Nobody cares about anything except for those little powdered sugar donuts.
The beignets. Oh yeah, those are fantastic. At Café du Monde. But anyway, they had the QR code there.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is great, but we're not going to scan it. Do you have menus? And okay, they reluctantly brought menus over. They also wanted you to pay with your phone. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't have an Apple Pay set up or anything like that. It's like, okay, this is getting weird. I'll pay with cash. Oh, I don't know if we take it. Well, you better take cash. Because it just seemed too weird, too inconvenient, or maybe convenient for some people, but I already didn't trust them at that point.
Yeah, sure.
With the QR code and all that. And it's not like this is your neighborhood restaurant, and if there's a problem, you come back and say, hey, you overcharged me, blah, 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 last week when I was in here. I saw my statement. Well, it's at the airport. You're not going to get to come back there. First of all, you're not going to be back in New Orleans for a while or in the airport. Right. You don't just walk in the airport without a plane ticket to get to the gate. So it's like, okay, I have very limited chance of coming back here and getting restitution if they screw me. So it's like, okay, this is going to be cash. And of course, that was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
To pay with cash. But
for them or for you?
For me, because they were like making it really difficult. Oh, no, we do this. It's like, no, I don't. Do you want to get paid?
I was at a bar one time, a pool bar at a hotel, and they wouldn't accept cash.
Yeah.
Only credit cards.
I had that happen. I got a free beer. Because they're like, no, we're just taking credit cards. Like, well, I don't have it. You can take the money. I left the money.
Right.
Well, it actually wasn't free beer. I left the money.
Right.
And I don't know if they took it or not, but they didn't come after me.
Right. And what are you going to do?
What are they going to do? He paid with cash. Officer, he paid with cash.
No.
Do you see what it says there?
Yeah.
For all debts, public and private.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is a debt.
I mean, you mentioned Apple and Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
I had Apple Pay on my phone at one point, and Instagram nailed me for something free download. Bing, $30 on my phone, on my card, and I objected and closed down the account. I mean, the credit card. Actually, my credit card company called me and said that we think that a fraudulent charge was made to your phone, and it was.
Yeah.
I complained to Apple, and I got all the way up the ladder to one of the head guys, and I said, I'm not doing this because I'm looking for restitution. That's already been taken care of by the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that you can't do something about things that you don't know are happening.
Right.
So he said, well, I appreciate that. That's terrific. I will take care of it. He did take care of it. He got Instagram to remove that ad that was for a fraudulent thing. Then a month later, I put it back on, and bang, it nailed me again. So I went, okay, I'm never doing the Apple Pay thing again, ever. And on my new phone, it keeps saying the very last thing, finish setting up your phone. And it's always that credit card. They want that credit card.
Know. Yeah, my phone always comes, well, not always, but it comes up with that frequently. Finish setting up your profile.
Right. It's the fun.
Set up Apple Pay. No, I've never set up Apple Pay. I'm not going to.
No, good thought.
Ever.
And I think it's like, what business are you guys in?
Yeah. Stealing information. They're in the information stealing
you
business.
You bet.
And I'm not playing into that.
And the song stealing business, as far as I'm concerned, because they did that over and over and over.
You had that happen in major scale.
Over and over.
You had CDs.
Yep.
You recorded them.
And Apple said, do this. Yeah. Put it on Apple, whatever, Apple
iTunes
Music or
whatever,
something.
Yeah,
right.
The application.
Maybe that's what it was. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And it was fine for a while, and then suddenly all of those songs were gone.
Yeah.
And by the way, we didn't keep the CDs. So that was the stupidest thing.
Unbelievable.
But I mean, at this point, CDs, where do you play a CD? I don't really have anything.
Player. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't have one anymore because all my Apple computers don't have CD players in them.
We have a VCR, too.
Yeah, I know.
And a laser disc.
I know, I don't. We live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the show, which is called We Should Talk, Palmer&Kunkel. I'm Russell Palmer.
I'm Doug Kunkel.
And We Should Talk. Be in touch.